Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. It's what is day? Tuesday. It's a pretty nice day out, and we got some work done outside this morning, but we're actually going to head in the shop here. Got a new project we need to get started on. I just want to get a couple hours in today, and then I'll get back out here tonight, and hopefully get working on the patio. As soon as the camera adjusts to the light here. Anyways, show you a new project here. So in the shop today we have a 2020 something or another. Well, it's a one or newer, that's all I know. A Ford Bronco, 2-door. This is a Wild Track. It does have the SAS package on it. And as you can see, the front's blue, the black's gray, the back is gray. Does that make sense? Front is blue, back is gray. So this was what we would call a roof rear clip. This is a friend of mine / customer of mine, however you want to look at it. He did all the work on it. He did the clip work and everything. He's did the disassembly, and he's going to do the reassembly. So all I have to do is a little bit of body work and make the entire thing blue. So as you can see up here, he drilled the spot welds out of the upper roll cage section. Looks like just unbolted a few pieces. This cage then slides out. He clipped it across the factory seam on the floor, drilling out the spot welds, and then did the standard rockers cut. You can see the front is blue and the back is gray. So underneath here somewhere, looks like here and here is where he sectioned it at. Did a great job. Door, the gaps and everything look good, nice and clean. He's pretty meticulous about his work, so it's no surprise there. My job is I got to fix this seam here. You can see it's tight here and pretty spacious up there, so we need to fix that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the tailgate. I don't think there's anything wrong with this quarter panel. We do have a small little ding right here we need to address. This is probably the worst part here. So this was a rear end collision on the blue truck, and the quarter panel came up past here, bent the door out fairly good, and it's aluminum, which makes it even more difficult to work with. But there is some room behind these seals here to kind of get down in there. I don't know what I'm exactly going to do yet. I don't entirely have a game plan. Just go after it, and it's bent. It needs to be unbent. How's that sound? So whatever we got to do to make that happen, we'll get that pounded out, do a little body work on those couple spots, and other than that, it's just get it ready for paint. Oh, there is a ding in that quarter panel I just seen. Small one, nothing major. I'll go through everything that we're going to paint. Make sure all the body panels are good before we actually get to that point. And the cage, usually these are body color, but we are going to do it a satin black, just an industrial satin black. So when the top's off, you won't see, that should be blue. But I like his idea. I'm going to do the same thing to probably both of our Broncos. That's been on my plan to do. That was to paint the cage itself black. So we're going to do that. So anyways, we're just going to set up on time lapse here, get a couple of those things. I'm probably going to take this quarter panel off the truck so I can get in here and access this. And then we're going to work on that driver's door. So shouldn't be too big of a deal. a new day in the shop. We're in the shop today, obviously. We're getting to get back on the Bronco here. It's been a few days since I worked on it, and it's hot outside. Summer showed up yesterday. It's now 91 degrees and high humidity. So I got the AC turned on. It's a nice 72 degrees in here. We got the body work all finished up. I've got that door taken care of. Obviously, I just pounded this back in, and I was able to get inside, work that aluminum back out. A couple coats of skim coats of mud there, a little dent there. Had a little dent in the original quarter panel. We had this damage on the back of the quarter panel. Good to go. And then we just got the rocker area. And like I said, the owner of the truck already did all that repair. So I'm just gonna, I fixed a few spots I didn't like. And then I'm just going to, we're gonna get a couple coats of epoxy put on. And then we'll get a couple coats of fill primer on top of that. Basically, epoxy is going to go on to protect the bare metal areas. So then we'll get a couple coats of fill primer put on. Probably guide coat, and probably just reblock everything out to make sure it's good. And then we'll reprime it tomorrow or whatnot. But for today, we're going to do, I got it all messed up. We're going to mix up some epoxy, get it in the gun, fire at the booth here, and get going on it, I guess. So hang tight. Alright, so we got some Omni primer. Gonna get a little loud, but gotta have the fans running, right? That probably wasn't necessary there. There was no bare metal, but whatever. Ain't gonna hurt, right? Looks terrible right there. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to sand this out and do some more work in there. Like I said, I didn't do it, but now I can see it, and I don't like it. But you can see the, almost looks like it's cracked. Oh well, deal with that when we get there. Love that right there either. A little spot right here is a little bare metal on that corner. Touch that up. So good enough for round one. So we're back out in the shop again. It's another new day. Basically, we did get a couple coats of epoxy put on yesterday, and then 3 coats of fill primer, and then just let it sit overnight. So we're back here this morning, and I ended up just giving it a quick coat of guide coat, and I just went through and blocked out the couple spots that I did. Like I said, when I was priming it, I seen the spot on the door that I knew I wasn't going to be happy with. Basically, if you follow that body line right to there, the body line kind of jumps up this way. I can see it right there. So basically, we're going to get a little coat of glaze on there, move this body line down 1/8 of an inch maybe, and then that's going to be good enough. This obviously turned out good, but this mess in here. And obviously if you're paying attention to the beginning of it, I didn't do this work in here, and it's pretty obvious now that I didn't do it. So I don't know what's going on here. It was all cracked. I don't even know. I sanded it out and it still didn't even sand out very well. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to go through and hit that with some 50 grit, smooth that edge out, put a nice little thin coat of glaze in that, smooth that out. These here, you can see from the guide code how much work is left to be done on this section here. So I'm going to put a couple coats of glaze on this, clean this up, clean up a couple little spots, just so when this thing's, I don't know what he plans on doing this. I mean, it's not a show truck, I get that, but being it's a Bronco and the doors come off, if you're cruising around with the doors off, I'm going to see that. That's, so it's just, I probably shouldn't fix it because I didn't do the work, and I wasn't, I don't think I'm supposed to be in here. I think I'm just supposed to paint it, but I can't leave that go. So I could put another hour's worth of work into it, make it 100% better than what it is and a lot closer to what it should look like. So anyways, we're just going to get a couple coats of glaze on, sand it out, smooth it out, and then we'll get 3 coats of primer put back on it and get back on the schedule. So that's it for now. I'm going to shut this off, turn the music on, get some mud going, get this finished up. So we'll see you in a bit. All right, so we're back in the shop. It's another new day. We finished up that body work yesterday on the rockers that we were talking about. Obviously, you don't need to watch me do body work. That's pretty boring. I did reprime them then, and then I guide coated them again today, blocked them back out. They're 100% better. Still 2 low spots I don't like. We're going to get those fixed up real quick. I will reprime it again, so that'll be 3 times just on the rockers. But that's just the way to do it correctly, right? Anyways, as far as the rest of the day, we're going to push this thing outside, blow all the dirt out of it, get it cleaned up. I'm going to get the prep station cleaned up, and then we're going to get the truck back in here and get it masked up and get ready to spray the cage. So as far as the cage, yesterday, while doing the body work on the rockers, I went through and DA'd the cage out with 320, or the roll bar, or whatever you want to call this particular piece of the vehicle. DA'd out with 320. We had a lot of smoke and fire damage up on this front section because the gray truck was a front end fire. The whole interior and all that was burned up. So we had a lot of ugliness to get cleaned up. So we got a lot of bare metal now. So the plan is we're going to get it masked up today and get it ready to go. And then if it rains tonight, I'll probably paint it tonight. If it doesn't rain tonight, we're going for a boat ride. So if that happens, which I'd rather that happen, this will be masked up and ready to go for tomorrow's Friday. So we'll basically be ready to go. Come out here in the morning. We're going to blast 2 coats of epoxy on it to cover up that metal and get everything protected that way. And then 2 or 3 coats of an industrial black. It'll be a satin finish. I figured the industrial black, it'll take more abuse as far as taking the top on and off and stuff like that, where the base clear is obviously going to scratch a lot easier. So that's the plan. A couple coats of epoxy, a couple coats of industrial black. Let that sit over the weekend, and then Monday we'll be ready to start getting the body ready for paint. So anyways, we're going to get cleaned up, and then we'll start masking. Okay, everything's blowed out, cleaned up the best we could anyways. Prep station's ready. I think we're going to pull the door. I'm going to have to get in and out of this thing probably 13 times. So I think we're going to pull the door and probably just pull the driver's seat out and be done with all that. So we'll pull this off quick and then get the seat out of it. I'm assuming none of it's plugged in or anything like that. I'm assuming he had to have it out, all the carpets out and everything, so we'll see. Well, now the door's off. I got both doors off. This seat was gone already, obviously, so pulled that seat out quick. 2 bolts, pretty easy. Now We just got to figure out how we're going to do it. I don't have a game plan. I'm just going to make it up as I go. That's pretty much how I do things anyway. So I got a bunch of tape, a bunch of paper, and a bunch of plastic. Covered up, painted black, right? Okay. All right, well, now we're going to set up on a time lapse, turn the music back on. I don't know. We're going to make something. One way. Alright, so it's been about an hour and a half since we got our 2 coats of epoxy on. Probably closer to 3 coats by the time we're done, but whatever. A little extra never hurts nothing, right? So in the gun we have a cup, about a half a cup of AUE 100. It's an industrial paint. It'll be good for this application here. It's a satin black finish, which is what we're going for. This material I use mostly on like trailers and stock cars, dirt track cars, stuff like that. This stuff will stick to about anything and everything. The walls, the floor, you. It dries fast, it holds up well, and it's very affordable. So they only mix it by the gallon, and I use it quite a bit. So it's a 7-to-1 ratio. I usually put about a 10% splash of lacquer thinner in it, just to thin it out a little bit so it sprays better out of my gun, because my gun is not set up for that product. My air cap and my fluid tip are obviously set up for base, and then I got a different gun that is set up for clear. So I'm running through my base gun, and it is diluted 10%, so it'll flow nice and it'll lay out nice. So without any further ado, let's get the time lapse going, get the radio turned back on, and that's it for a Friday as far as I'm concerned. That's 3 coats of black on top of 3 coats of epoxy. So needless to say, that should be very well protected from the weather, considering it's under the top of the truck anyway. So over the next couple hours, this will pretty much fade out. A lot of the sheen will come off of it, and it'll be more of a satin finish when it's done. So that's it for Friday. We'll pick back up Monday with body panels. Well, we got the old blue Bronco back in the booth here. So today's Tuesday. Yesterday, Monday, I pulled it out, wet sanded everything, scotch sprayed everything, got everything ready to go. I spent a little time this morning finishing up a few things. So basically just 400 on the door jamb areas, and anywhere we're going to change the color. And then over here on this side, obviously red scotch spray through this area. We'll get all that done. Here we're just going to touch up these spots here and here. I got a little spot down there. Re-clear the panel, and I'm thinking instead of normally we would jam this area out first, blue, basic, clear it, and then come back the next day, put the doors on, and then spray the truck. But because these doors come off so easy, I am going to I only have to do one door anyways, so I think we're going to just put the one door on Sawhorse. I'm going to hang the tailgate, that way I can do the inside and the outside at the same time. We got a couple plastic pieces, the gas door, stuff like that. So we're going to paint everything separately. That way we can do basically one spray all the way through the truck. So there'll be no tape lines or anything like that anywhere. It'll look more from the factory, I suppose you could say. There's always different ways you can do it, but that's the way I'm going to do this one today. It's kind of more complicated, but it's kind of easier too. So you waste more materials, but it is what it is. So anyways, we're going to switch this thing over time lapse. Get the tunes turned back on, get this thing masked up today, which is Tuesday, and then if all goes well, it'll be ready to go Wednesday. Get out here, get spraying before the heat of the day kicks in. It's pretty hot outside today, so we got the air on in here. Actually, it's been on all week. So we're going to hide out in here today, do some masking, and get it ready to go. So here we go. And done, all the colors on. Basically what we ended up with was coat of sealer over the areas that we're doing the body work on, stuff like that. Coat of sealer across the quarter panel, obviously you've seen all that. After the sealer, we did a 2 coats of DBC 500 on the blend area, basically the front of the door where we're going to blend our color at, and again on this quarter panel. I'm trying to keep color off of that edge right there so we can hopefully not have any color change between this and the original door. That's the plan. So we got 2 coats of DBC 500, and then I did 4 coats of base, at least 4 coats, 3 coats, I don't really remember. We were just spraying. We let that flash. I come back and sanded out a few things I didn't like, and then after that was all done and cleaned up, then we did, I don't know, probably another 3 coats of base. This color is pretty transparent. It didn't cover real well. It took a lot to cover it, so we probably got at least 6 or 7 coats of base on this thing. I think I got 4 on the jams, and up in this area I could still see some cloudiness, like the sealer was still trying to show through. So we hammered the base on, put everything we had on it, and it's ready to go now. It's all flashed off, tacked off. I got a cup of DC 3000 mixed up in the gun, clear, so we're going to start hammering on some clear and see if we can get this thing wrapped up. It's about 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, and we're going to get this thing wrapped up, and then we'll see what's going on and see what all the buzz is about. So it's a new day in the shop, and it's raining outside, so that's kind of good. Forced me to be inside and get this thing done. So it's Friday. We painted this Wednesday, and that's the last part you would have seen was Wednesday. So yesterday was Thursday, obviously. I didn't do a whole lot on it. Basically, normally I do it like an assembly video on, time lapse or whatnot, but all I really did was put the doors on it, and that took like a minute to do. So we obviously don't have a lot of assembly to do because we're not finishing this, but I did have to respray this one hinge because I don't know why, but I didn't paint the hinge. I did the top hinge, but I didn't do the bottom hinge. And the color it was obvious between the two, so I ended up respraying the bottom hinge yesterday. Other than that, I just put the doors on it and I put it outside, let it sit in the sun, cure up real well. Today we're going to do a little wet sand and buffing on it and put the tailgate on. And other than that, we'll be done with this one. So we'll set up time lapse, throw the tailgate on, a little scuff and buff, get her out the door. Well, as you can see, that was pretty uneventful. 4 bolts, a little bit of adjusting on the hinge here just to get the door where I wanted it. He's going to have to do some readjusting on it when it's all said and done, because once you put the spare tire on this thing, basically it's designed to be preloaded up, but I don't want to set that. He can set that, and then when you put the weight of the spare tire on there, it's going to put it back down to where it's supposed to be. So he'll do some tweaking on that. Gas door, pretty straightforward. Snap it in, snap the lid on, done. So from here, we're just going to do a little wet sand and buffing on it. I'm going to run over it real quick with 1000 grit. I just got a little bit of dust that I want to address. I got this one spot here that I already sanded out just to make sure that it came out, because if it didn't, it was going to get resprayed, but it came right out, no problem. I got just a little bit of a dry area right here, a little texture that I want to remove, so we're going to get that done. We're going to do the top of the tailgate here. I'm not going to worry about the bottom because you don't see 90% of it by the time, and that actually looks really good. Again, it's just a little orange peel up here. I'm going to leave some orange peel to match the factory finish, but I don't want to take it all off. I want to leave a little bit. So same thing here. We'll probably just run over this with 2000. It doesn't really need a whole lot. And then we'll hit it with some 5000 on the DA. And then we're going to buff it, and then we'll hit it with the polisher, and then it'll go on the trailer and get out of here when it stops raining, I guess. So anyways, here we go. Well, that's just our quick once over 1,000. So if you've watched any of my other wet sanding and buffing videos, the one in 2023 Bronco series that we did, at that point, and especially on the black Bronco when we did that, we were looking to get rid of all the orange peel on the black Bronco because I wanted that thing perfectly smooth. But in this situation, we're trying to match the factory orange peel, which is very light. So basically, I'm leaving some orange peel. But what I'm looking for is like this speck of dust right here. That one, there's one up here. So now that we just ran over 1,000 grit, now I can see the spots that I don't like, which is that one, and this one right here. So now I can go through and I can just address those 3 spots. And I need to do a little bit more work right here. But other than that, I'm looking to leave some orange peel in it. So I didn't take it all the way down. I didn't block it. I just hand sanded with 2,000 grit back here and 2,000 grit over here. Again, I just want to knock the orange peel down so it matches the finish from the factory better to help disguise the fact that this truck was once cut in half and welded back together. So anyways, we're going to finish those couple spots. Then we're going to hit it with 5,000 grit. Actually, I got to hit this side with 2,000. I already did the other side with 2,000, so I need to hit this side with 2,000 and then 5,000 on the DA, and then we'll get to buffing. So that's after 5,000 grit on the DA, and I mean, it looks really good. One little spot there, but it's so light I ain't gonna worry about it. Other than that, well, yeah, get to buffing, I guess. This should go pretty quick. Ain't much to do, so let's get her done, and then we'll run over with polisher, and then that'll be it for this thing. So back to time lapse, here we go. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this Bronco anyways. I think there's another Bronco coming, an older one again. This is the 3rd Gen 6 Bronco that I've done. Granted, I didn't do a lot of this work. You know, Clint did all the rear clip stuff. I just did the paint work. As you've seen, is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. If you're looking for Bronco parts, I do know that he has a full rear end out of a Bronco, a Gen 6 Bronco. It's full rear end. He's got a transfer case. He's got the 10-speed automatic transmission. He's got some interior parts, but not a lot because they came out of the engine. The rear clip came from an engine fire, so a lot of the front end stuff was gone, dash, and a lot of the interior was junk. But the transmission is untouched, transfer case, rear diff. I think the gas tank, stuff like that's fine. He's technically got a full frame. He did cut the rear section of the frame off and put it on this one, just like the last 2 foot. So he's got a full frame. The front is burnt, but it could be used. He's got a lot of cool parts. If you put a motor behind it, if you want to build a buggy or something, he's got a lot of cool parts. So if anybody's interested in something like that, just get a hold of me and we'll kind of go from there. Other than that, we're done with this thing. He's going to pick it up in the morning. He'll take it back to his shop. He'll put it back together there, get it inspected, all that good stuff. So 2022 with 11,000 miles. Yeah, granted it was cut in half and put back together, but it'll be a good truck, and especially for what he's got in it. I know how much he's got in it. He's doing good. So anyways, we're going to wrap this video up, get this one done and out of here, and then I think we're moving on to that Expedition, which I probably won't do a lot on. That's pretty boring. And then there's another Bronco coming, and then we're going to get back outside. We got pavilion to build. We got a patio going in out back. We got how many logs I need to get on the sawmill. We got a lot of stuff to get done, but anyways, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.